Friday morning, I do my usual routine. I get up, take a shower, get dressed, eat, walk my dog, go to work. Little did I know, many people posting on their story about Tame Impala. For a second, I thought it might be his birthday, but then I quickly realized it wasn't his birthday. So I found out that it's his first album since The Slow Rush, which came out about 5 years ago now, since the pandemic or during the pandemic. But yeah, this one hit different, and I could tell by some mixed reactions, not everybody is loving it. But let me tell you that I've been listening to this since it's dropped, and something about it just stuck with me. So in this video, I want to break down my first impressions on the album and share with you a few thoughts that I got from listening to Deadbeat. And this might be the most complete project you'll probably hear this year, by far. But enough yapping, I'm about to get straight into this. And look, I'm not gonna lie, no opening track should have any right to be this good. The moment it starts, you know exactly what kind of headspace Kevin is in. That line, I know I said never again, temptation feels like it never ends. I'm sliding, powerless as I descend back into my old ways again. That line pretty much encapsulates what this whole album or concept is gonna be about. Like, take the beginning of My Old Ways. It sounds like Kevin recording a voice note on his phone, like he's experimenting, messing around with the instruments, seeing what sound fits until he finds something that really inspires him, and then boom, we get the full version after that. Just that part, what it's telling me is that we're in for the whole creative process of it. He knows he's going back down a familiar path. Could be something that once hurt him, but there's honesty in how he says it. I think this could reflect Kevin's return to his creative cycle, which I think it is, or even his personal struggles, whether it could be isolation or perfectionism. It's like realizing that even though he changes with age, parts of him still repeat the same patterns. And I also take this as a peek behind the curtains at the process of making one of these albums.
Wow.
And it was eerie to me. It felt eerie to me. So I'd love to just talk a little bit about kind of what draws you to your own environment away from things.
It's a time of reflection. And I know that sort of like, it took me a long time to realize how there would be some people who don't enjoy that.
Yeah.
You know, some people are just like, oh no, that sounds like my worst nightmare.
Boom.
But yeah, for me, I just need to gather myself.
The mental back and forth that comes with being a perfectionist, and not just in the lyrics, because aside from the very specific words chosen to write this, the production too has to be acknowledged. It really tells his own story. It's a perfect blend between atmosphere and emotion. You could easily picture this anywhere. It's cinematic and intimate at the same time. It's not just making songs to make songs. This has a purpose, and he wants you to feel that, to have that experience. And that is a sign of an artist that's completely in sync with their sound. And if you haven't by now, just go watch the music video, because it shows you the whole process that he goes through, because it's really going to paint that picture. And no doubt in my mind that this album, the concept that we're shown, is what the whole album is going to be like. All right, so for the next song, this one's a bit more universal. We've all been there. That moment when, for some reason, we just stop replying and maybe face some regret along the way about not being open to getting to know someone fully. The song is a nice departure from the first track, No Reply, and it's like the sound of acceptance. No reply is not just sadness, but it's understanding that sometimes you choose silence as an answer. Oh, and the piano towards the end is just a nice touch. Raw humming vocals, sounds like he's home, like he's in that creative process, like he's trying to find inspiration. And that keeps me thinking that this album is more personal, allowing us to be part of that. You know, like hearing this now and looking at the cover, you can't help to think that whatever he was inspired by was at home all this time. And it's just part of life, getting older, finding new inspiration in other places. Dracula might be one of the coolest songs on the project. It's like a love story told on Halloween night, or however you want to interpret it. It reminds me of Thriller from Michael Jackson, which will probably remind a lot of people. It has that 80s sound to it, haunting, but also pretty beautiful. I think that you're really going to get a lot out of it once you start hearing it at a festival or one of his shows. This is one of those songs that will do very well in the mainstream, as I feel like a lot of people will just like it for sounding cool. Now this next one actually feels like it's based on a true story, especially after watching the music video. It's like we're watching a man live through the worst day of his life while we're hearing his inner monologue in real time, and that is what became this song. That was until you get to the end and realize he's just a loser. So I really like this song. Hearing it for the first time, I had my own interpretation of it, where I thought that this was the end of what could be a relationship. And then as the song goes along, it made me realize that you could see this as something else too. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can interpret it. That's what I like about it. That's what I like about a lot of this music here. It has style. Another song that quickly became a favorite from this album. I can highly recommend this one right away. Loser might just be one of those timeless ones, the kind of song you hear once and know it's gonna stick around. But you gotta love that ending, that twist, thinking that his girl left him when he's just a loser. Oblivion sounds good. It carries that dreamlike sequence throughout, but compared to the other songs on here, it isn't one I'll come back to. But I won't skip it either if it comes on. I feel somewhat similar about Not My World, though I do prefer this one much more than Oblivion. This is like house music. This is more Tame Impala in his house EDM type style. And like I've said with some other songs before, this would definitely do wonders at some of his shows, but you're not gonna have me listening to this unless I'm in a very specific setting or mood. Now this one, you could tell it's special. Piece of Heaven might be the heart of the album. It feels deeply personal, almost like it's dedicated to someone. I can see this one becoming a favorite. I do think this one is a little out of left field for someone like Tame Impala, but not for the theme set from the beginning of this album. You see, this is why it's important to establish that this is for his daughter. It's like a no-brainer, it's personal, and it was probably mostly inspired by being at home and watching her grow, which is also nice to see with Tame Impala's growth, how he steps into this role of fatherhood, and we see a whole different side of him while he still remains the same person inside. And again, the piano for No Reply continues playing at the end of this song. So yes, I do think this album is a little different than what people were expecting it to be or what people are used to. And learning to accept that is also respecting and accepting of his growth as well. So for the last stretch of the album, it does actually start feeling like we're nearing something final. Obsolete became a song I started coming back to every now and then, a little bit more than I thought I would. I wouldn't put it as high as Mile Ways, Loser, or But let me give it a few more days and I'll get back to you on that one. One thing I won't deny is that this song is super complete. And once you give it a chance, you're gonna see that it stands out from a lot of the other songs on here. So this next one, Ethereal Connection, is a little bit different for me, especially because it's one of those songs you don't overthink. You just sit back, close your eyes, and let it wash over you. It's Kevin showcasing his strengths as a producer and taking the place of a DJ because he goes in. And while it's cool for the first time and maybe the second, I don't see myself coming back to it. It's not that it's bad by any means, but this song will have its time to shine at his concerts. No big message, no complex structure, although it does switch up halfway through. The entire track stays consistent for the most part with the tone established for this album, but overall, it is an immersive sound and I'm sure it will be big once he plays it live. See You on Monday, You're Lost. This song has two parts, and the first half feels like a farewell disguised as a routine. The phrase, "See you on Monday," carries this bittersweet duality. It's casual on the surface, but underneath, it's aching with the realization that maybe things won't go back to normal. It's a calm after the emotional chaos, fitting since much of Deadbeat wrestles with self-doubt and perfectionism. The transition into You're Lost hits like a realization, where See You on Monday feels grounded and controlled. You're Lost feels like Kevin finally letting go. The phrase You're Lost could be directed at someone else, but it could also be himself. Maybe he's addressing an old version of himself. The perfectionist, the overthinker. I love Afterthought, and how could you not? It explores feelings of emotional neglect and one-sided love. That pain of realizing you mean less to someone than they mean to you. A lot of the lyrics on here are heartbreaking. Kevin sounds stuck in a cycle, trying to fix something that's fundamentally one-sided. It's one of the cleanest produced songs on the album, like he wanted it to sound as close as an empty dance floor does at 3 a.m. in the morning. Afterthought perfectly represents Kevin's evolution, merging his producer side with his songwriting side. Now, End of Summer. End of Summer feels like closure, like you're reaching the end of a relationship or emotional season and realizing that while it's over, it still mattered. The song not only encapsulates the album's whole mood and theme, but it does a great job at bringing everything together. The nostalgia comes through in every way. The summer here represents warmth, love, and connection, and as it fades, we're left reflecting on what remains: memory, silence, and yourself. It feels cinematic, like the credits rolling after an emotional journey. It ties together themes of love, loss, change, and nostalgia, ending not with heartbreak, but acceptance. Musically, it's classic Tame Impala with the synths, the heavy reverbs, and the distant vocals. You can still hear the slow rush influence in there, but now everything feels calmer, more resolved, but like he's leaving the door open for something that might come later on. Also, there is something I always find bittersweet about the end of summer, and I don't think this album could have come at a more perfect time, as we have the next 2 months to enjoy it before the year ends. Deadbeat doesn't sound like a collection of songs, it feels like a single experience, like the soundtrack to nostalgia. And honestly, I remembered every track's name on the album, which really never happens at first, especially with an artist I really don't listen to like that. Deadbeat really blew me away. I expected some solid like Tame Impala album, but this feels much deeper in many ways. It's a sound of someone who's lived life, took their time, and came back with stories to tell, all wrapped in this psychedelic groove. From start to finish, this album feels cohesive. Every song flows naturally into the next. It's not just another psychedelic album or some long-awaited comeback. It's Kevin Parker opening the curtain and letting us see the human underneath all the sound. You can feel the years between the slow rush and Deadbeat, the reflection, fatigue, this peace, even the doubt, but instead of hiding it, he made it the centerpiece. Anyways, that's my take on Deadbeat. Let me know what you thought of the album. Drop your comments down below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I drop one of these videos. I'll make sure to keep posting frequently, but until then, I'll see you in 2 months. See ya.